Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. If you missed it a little bit earlier, I uploaded my review of the new Homeworks Blueberry Violet Tart. I will go ahead and link that review in the description box right below this video, as well as where you can purchase the candle that we are talking about in this video here. And we are discussing Kringle Reserve California Cab. You guys, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you are a fan of grape fragrances and you are specifically a fan of really strong, potent, powerful grape fragrances when it comes to home fragrance, California Cab is your girl. She has, I think, all of the fragrance oils in her. Oh my gosh. You guys, this candle is so strong. In fact, and I've mentioned this in my review of the sprinkled macarons as well as the sweet cream, I really feel like this last reserve drop from Kringle was significantly more potent in terms of strength and throw than any of the other Kringle Reserve releases. Well, maybe with the exception of Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut has been a powerhouse for me as well. But I feel like most of us who, regularly purchase Kringle, even other people who, review Kringle candles, typically, we get a solid medium performance out of these 2-wick jars. And that's fine. Like, for me, honestly, like, I feel like there's only so much that you can really expect out of a candle of a certain size. Your wax pool is only going to be so deep. You're only going to have so much surface area, and that can limit the amount of fragrance that you are going to get out of any given, candle. But that being said, for whatever reason, I don't know what the change was, but this latest reserve drop across the board has been wonderful in terms of strength and throw. But we will get to that part of the review here in a minute. I just want to point out, like, this is something that I've really noticed. And if in the past you maybe have purchased some reserve candles that weren't maybe as strong as you would like, I would say try some of these latest launches here. You're probably going to be pleasantly surprised for sure. So anyway, like I said, I will go ahead and link where you can get California Cab in the description box down below. I am an ambassador, so I do have a discount code if you would like to save 15%. You don't have to spend a certain dollar amount to do that. So I will put that code in the description box down below as well. But let's get into this fragrance here, because honestly, I'm not a grape person. To me, grape candles usually smell quite artificial, and it's hard, I think, to get grape right. Now, this here, while I don't get the boozy note of like a wine candle, I do smell, like a lot of the undertones that a lot of wine connoisseurs pick up when they are doing wine tastings. What are those wine people called? Sommeliers, that's who they are. They spend years studying this stuff. I think it's actually really hard to become a sommelier. Not something that I would ever do. I don't enjoy drinking wine that much anymore. I feel like the older I get, the more headachy I end up the next day after a few glasses of wine. So yeah, I've learned to lay off of that. But if you are a wine aficionado, or if you are looking for a gift for someone who is a wino, like for example, my sister-in-law Heather, oh my gosh, this woman loves her. She loves her some California Cabs. She loves Merlots. She loves Pinot Noirs. I mean, we live in Oregon and this is like Pinot Noir central here. So, but this is totally the type of candle that I would get for my sister-in-law Heather. She would love this. So again, if you're looking for a gift for that wino friend in your life, send them this. They're gonna love it. Okay, let's get into the usual, usual situation here where we talk about the scent description, the fragrance notes. I'll tell you what my nose picks up, And do know that that varies from person to person. Just because I pick up certain fragrance notes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will. But if we have kind of a similar nose, and I feel like if you've watched a lot of my videos, you kind of know whether we have similarities or not when it comes to smelling certain things. Hopefully this is helpful for you. Okay, California Cab. Indulge in rich and velvety California Cab, where luscious layers of red berries, black cherry, and dark plum harmonize with aged oak, warm spices, creating an aromatic journey of a fine wine country escape. Okay, top notes: red berries, black cherry. Mid notes: black currant, dark plum, wild grapes. The base is aged oak, warm spices, and tonka bean. Okay, so what am I smelling here? I definitely pick up a really true black cherry note in here, but you know what I get more than anything else is a Concord grape note. I really think that the bulk of what I'm getting here, more so than that black cherry, is definitely that Concord grape, but it pairs really nicely with that black cherry note. The black currant, I also feel like there is definitely a touch of currant in here. It's not your typical red currant. I don't love red currant personally, but there's other types of currant notes that aren't quite as, I don't even know what it is about red currants. I think I just have a negative like memory association with red currant fragrances. So that's probably mostly it for me. But I do think that red currant smells a little bit more, I don't even know if the word is acidic, but just not as sweet as maybe like a black currant does. Black currant to me just smells a little bit sweeter to my nose. So I love that. I can see where there might be some plum in here for sure. Red berries, maybe, but really you guys, I'm smelling a lot of Concord grape here. It kind of reminds me of the Welch's Concord grape juice with just some other juices kind of tossed in with it. But then we also have the interesting aspect of that aged oak, and that is something that I do smell. There is just a slight woodiness to this. It's not overpowering or overwhelming. I think it definitely supports the fruit notes that are featured here. And it gives it, again, that vibe of being like a wine type fragrance without getting that like boozy note per se, if that makes sense. The warm spices, there is, I would say, like just a touch of spiciness to this, but don't think that it's heavy on like cinnamon or cardamom or, you know, nutmeg or anything like that per se. It's a little bit of, I would call it maybe like a generic spiciness. Tonka bean, yes, I can definitely smell some tonka bean in here. Tonka to me smells more of like a darker, very smoky, not super sweet vanilla. And I can see that being present in here for sure. But yeah, you guys, if you are at all into the grape, or if you are into the black cherry that you're seeing here in the description, they are present. And I would say that that is the bulk of what this fragrance is. It's probably like 80% that Concord grape, that black cherry, and then the other notes kind of round out the rest of the fragrance here. Strength and throw. Listen, she is a solid 8 in terms of strength, and she is also a solid 8 in terms of throw. I burned this candle quite a bit when we had our ice storm here in Oregon back in, what was that, January? Oh yeah, January, last month. Yeah, I burned this quite a bit then because we needed, you know, light. And also I was just burning a bunch of candles to try to bring the temperature up in the house. We had no power for like a couple of days. So I was burning a lot of things to try to bring up the temp in the house a little bit. And I'm telling you, this California Cab drowned out almost everything else that I had going at the same time. It is a very potent, very powerful fragrance. So much so that I would say that if you're sensitive to fragrance, I'd be careful with this one. There are a lot of people who do leave comments on my videos who, you know, mention that sometimes when I complain about a lighter candle, for example, they're like, that's actually exactly what I'm looking for. You know, I want some home fragrance, but my nose is a little bit sensitive. I don't want something that's gonna smack me in the face. If you are that person, don't buy this candle. This is it's probably gonna be too much for you. It probably won't be enjoyable for you. I have even tried it to where I have just lit one of the wicks, and ultimately it still pulls out completely, and then I'm still stuck with like an intense fragrance output. I would actually say, for me personally, this is one of those fragrances where I would maybe appreciate a little bit more subtlety in this one. I like the scent. And this is, again, coming from someone who normally does not care for grape fragrances, but this is authentic. If you guys will remember back to, I think it was last fall that they released the Vineyard Harvest. Oh, I did not care for their Vineyard Harvest at all. That smelled like grape Kool-Aid. This is not that. This is a very, very authentic grape that is not candied. It smells like the real thing, and if that's what you're looking for, pick up California Cab. But do prepare yourself for a pretty substantial strength and throw. The overall burn quality, I will say, has been fantastic. I'm gonna move this candle around just a touch so that you can see where I'm at in burning it. Obviously, if you are familiar with Kringle candles and their soy formulation, you know that these are pretty slow burning. Soy tends to be a slower burning wax. And for as many hours as I've had this lit, especially during that ice and snowstorm where we lost power actually multiple times, I really feel like this should be a lot further along, but I'm still only at the halfway point. Like, I feel like I have been burning this for eons and it's lasting forever. And this is one of the things, again, that I love about the Kringle soy formulation. If you really like a scent, I feel like it's easier to like stretch these candles because they burn forever. Honestly, ultimately, this is why I sometimes put my Kringle candles into my candle crocks, because I just think it's gonna take me too long to finish them. And if it's not a scent that's like a holy grail type fragrance, I don't feel maybe quite as bad putting it in a candle crock, although I will say I never view putting a candle in a crock as a waste. You're still getting the fragrance out of it. With this one, I'm almost afraid to put it into a crock because I think it's going to be just as strong melting. And if I'm melting all of this wax at once, holy cow, I should probably actually put it under a lamp. So I'm just melting it layer by layer, but yeah, I think it would be overkill. But you can see nice burn here. There's no residue on the side of the jar with the exception of just like a little bit on the side there. As the wax goes down, a little bit tends to stick to the side. But these always pool out completely and they're great burning candles. So I love them. I'm so excited for what is to come from Kringle this year. They will be launching 4-wick candles. And again, I'm so looking forward to that. I'm actually hoping that they might even bring the 4 wicks over to the Reserve line. Could you imagine? Could you imagine sweet cream or jelly donut or sprinkled macarons in a 4-wick? Oh, it'd be so good. I'm so excited. Anyway, you guys, those are my thoughts on the California Cab. I do still have a few more of these from this most recent release to share with you guys. So a little bit later on, probably on Sunday, I'm thinking I should have at least 2, possibly 3 more of these Kringle Reserve reviews ready to go. So make sure that you're subscribed. If you found this video helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. And I appreciate you guys being here. Let me know your thoughts on California Cab if you picked it up in the comments down below. And don't forget to check the description box for links on where to purchase, the discount code, and my review of the Homeworks Blueberry Violet Tart in the description box. All right, have a great rest of your day. Bye.